First, I want to give a little backstory. I love football, though I don't really watch games anymore. I also used to play Madden, though that too was a long time ago. However, when I stumbled across some people online calling this Madden in VR, needless to say, I was intrigued. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. NFL Pro Era is not Madden in VR, and that title has led to a lot of uninformed consumers experiencing buyer's remorse. This game is a NFL quarterback simulator, and it's available on the PlayStation VR 2, the Oculus Quest 2, and PCVR via Steam. Alright, well now that you know all of that, let's focus on the PCVR and Quest 2 versions and exactly what the differences are between the two. Anyone familiar with the VR space is already aware of this, but for those of you that may be new, the Oculus or Meta Quest 2 uses a mobile chip, meaning games that have versions on both PCVR and the Quest 2 always look better on PC, and NFL Pro Era is no exception. Immediately upon first glance, you're going to notice just how much better the overall graphics are for the PC compared to the Quest 2. From resolution to textures, the whole 9 yards, everything visually has been upgraded. The first thing that really stood out to me is this cool reflective shine the helmets have on the Steam version. If you look closely, you can even see the lights in Stadium reflecting off the helmets. None of which exist on the Quest 2. Another detail I picked up on is when watching plays on the Jumbotrons in the different stadiums. For some reason on the Quest 2 version, the screens are slow and choppy. Compare this to the PC where they run smooth as butter. Something you've probably noticed is that the user's face mask looks much better on the PC. This is true and you can tell when playing, however I'm not really sure what's going on up here. But it's not something that I could tell when in-game. Now this is a quarterback sim, which means when defense is on the field, you're on the sidelines. On the PCVR game, there's several trainers, coaches, and players. The trainers and coaches are sitting still, but the players are moving around to make it feel at least slightly alive. Now let's take a look at the Quest version. Yeah, not quite. And there's not even any trainers or coaches to be found. Based on everything I've said up until this point, you may be thinking to yourself, alright, it's a no-brainer. PCVR is the way to go. It's not quite that simple. You see, when it comes to gameplay and performance, the PC version had way more problems than the Quest 2 for me. At least it did. That was until about halfway through recording this footage that my laptop died. In that laptop, I was working with a 1660 Ti, which isn't the best for VR gaming, but it's also not that bad. Well, after the laptop's death, I upgraded to an RTX 3060 desktop, and it definitely made an improvement with the overall performance. Did it fix all of the problems I was experiencing with the PC version? No, absolutely not. But it did help with some things, an example being the load times. When booting the game up with the 1660 Ti, it would take an atrocious 2 to 3 minutes to load. Yeah, definitely not preferable. Fortunately, after upgrading, I was able to clock boot times of about 25 to 30 seconds, which is comparable to the Quest 2 load times of about 30 seconds as well. Another problem that was fixed after upgrading was the controllers or your player's hands would get shaky and jittery, and it felt like it got progressively worse as a match went on. It felt like this impacted your ability to throw accurately, and it made calling audibles virtually impossible later in a game. The problems with the PC mentioned so far were fixed with an upgrade. Now let's get into the things that were not fixed. Well, it's really only one problem, but this could be a deal breaker for some of you. Some of you may have already noticed, but the PC version has this weird bug that makes your field of view or your vision kind of shaky. I want to note, this did not make the game at any point unplayable for me. Fortunately, I am not prone to motion sickness myself. However, the reason I bring this up and say that it could be a big deal for a lot of you is I know there's a large portion of the VR player base that is prone to motion sickness. So buyer beware in this case. This probably goes without being said, but the reason I haven't mentioned the Quest in a second now is because, well, I simply didn't have these problems with the Quest version. So, considering all that's been said so far, which version would I recommend? Well, honestly, I can't say for sure. It's gonna vary from person to person. If you prefer improved visuals, have a powerful gaming rig, and you aren't prone to motion sickness, I would say go with the Steam version. If you prefer optimization, smoothness, and care less about visuals, then you should go with the Quest version. What I can tell you though, is that both games offer this awesome feeling of walking into different stadiums and looking around at these massive structures, having the fans cheer you on loudly as you complete long passes, run it in for a touchdown, or even hand the ball off on a 4th and goal for that game-winning drive, all while in VR. But the focus of this video was to help you better understand the version differences and make an informed purchase. And hopefully we at least helped a few of you with that. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for future content. And until next time, Indominus out.
Mm-hmm.